As 80,000 peace doves and 80,000 colorful balloons flew into the sky, the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War concluded amidst songs. This event was a concentrated showcase of China's national defense and military modernization. The 23 equipment formations participating in the review were divided into groups for land combat, maritime combat, air and missile defense, information warfare, unmanned warfare, logistics and support, and strategic strikes, rumbling forward in joint, combat-oriented formations. All weapons and equipment in the review are active main combat equipment of the Chinese military, with new fourth-generation equipment as the mainstay. A high proportion of the equipment was publicly displayed for the first time, demonstrating the systemic combat capabilities of the Chinese armed forces. So, how powerful was this military parade? Let's look at the highlights. Highlight 1: Prominent advantages in hypersonic weapons. Weapons such as the Jinglei 1 and Dongfeng 61 were unveiled. Hypersonic refers to an object's flight speed exceeding Mach 5, which is equal to or greater than 6,125 km per hour. At this speed, a flight from the North Pole to the South Pole would take less than 3.5 hours. Hypersonic technology is a frontier in the aerospace field. The greatest advantages of hypersonic missiles are their long range, strong penetration capabilities, and their ability to conduct precise and fierce fire strikes against targets. Countries like Russia and the United States have invested significant funds and manpower into their research. According to its CCTV News, the hypersonic missile formation that appeared in the September 3 parade included weapons such as the Jinglei 1 air-launched long-range missile, the Zhulong 3 submarine-launched intercontinental missile, the Dongfeng 61 land-based intercontinental missile, and the new Dongfeng 31 land-based intercontinental missile. In addition, the YJ-21, DF-17, and DF-26D missiles were also part of the review. It is worth mentioning that the DF-17 conventional missile was first publicly unveiled at the Grand Military Parade for the 70th anniversary of the National Day in 2019. Unlike the conical warheads we are familiar with, the DF-17's warhead has a flat, triangular pyramid shape with short horizontal and vertical wings. A warhead with this design has a flexible and variable flight trajectory, greatly enhancing its penetration capability. It can conduct precision strikes on medium and short-range targets in all weather conditions without support. Furthermore, as a typical hypersonic missile, the DF-17's flight trajectory is not a standard parabola. After the large rocket booster pushes the Wave Rider warhead to the appropriate altitude, primarily at the edge of the atmosphere, its flight path changes significantly. For example, it may adopt a wave-riding flight mode or a skipping trajectory, which not only achieves better penetration but also further extends its range. If the DF-17 is upgraded and iterated, its penetration methods may become more diverse. For instance, the missile body structure could become larger. In addition to flying farther, is it possible for the Wave Rider warhead to be accompanied by decoy warheads during its flight towards the target, to maximally confuse the opponent's early warning and anti-missile systems, making it difficult for them to distinguish between real and fake targets? This would further enhance its penetration capability. There is also the YJ-21, which can carry out fire strikes against heavily fortified targets. When a missile's name includes the characters 4ing G Eagle Strike, it refers to its function and operational environment, which is often to conduct long-range fire strikes against large enemy warships in modern naval warfare. This type of hypersonic missile system, launched from surface ship platforms, often requires a relatively large booster section to give it high velocity and allow it to reach a higher flight altitude. This kind of weapon system can also be carried and launched on other platforms, meaning it will exhibit a family-based development model. The biggest feature of the Ying-G series is that it achieves enhanced long-range and penetration capabilities through a flight path similar to that of a ballistic missile. It can also target ground objectives, especially high-value, heavily defended targets, with long-range fire strikes. In other words, a bomber can launch an air-launched hypersonic missile from outside the strike range of the enemy's air defense system, break through their air defense interception, and destroy high-value targets. The bomber can return to base as soon as possible after launching the missile, which would further enhance its battlefield survivability. If a hypersonic missile with a booster section is also equipped on an air-based platform, such as a bomber, its strike distance will be further extended. In summary, hypersonic missiles will evolve based on their operational environment, mission capabilities, and carrier platforms to adapt to different combat systems and environments. Highlight 2. New quality combat equipment such as unmanned and intelligence systems, unmanned vehicles, unmanned boats, and unmanned aerial vehicles UAVs were unveiled. In addition to hypersonic equipment, new domain and new quality combat forces were also a major highlight of the September 3rd parade. In recent years, China has made a series of major breakthroughs in the field of new quality combat equipment such as unmanned and intelligence systems, constructing an amphibious combat system. Participating in the parade this time were the Land Unmanned Combat Formation, featuring unmanned vehicles for reconnaissance, strike, assault, mine clearance, explosive ordnance disposal, and squad support. The Maritime Unmanned Combat Formation, with new unmanned underwater vehicles, unmanned surface vessels, and unmanned mine-laying systems, which are secret weapons for maritime operations. The Air Unmanned Combat Formation, featuring new reconnaissance strike-integrated UAVs, unmanned wingmen, and shipborne unmanned helicopters capable of covert assaults, wide area coverage, and autonomous coordination. The era of unmanned warfare has arrived, with manned-unmanned coordinated operations pushing tactics to new heights with technology. Unmanned equipment is reshaping the battlefield's offensive and defensive landscape with its sharp attacks. In the support chain, auxiliary and transport unmanned equipment also build a solid logistical shield with precise and efficient support capabilities. Regarding advanced unmanned boats, unmanned ships, and unmanned underwater vehicles, the biggest highlight is their increasing size, which allows for the integration of multiple functions on a single platform. For example, the duration of continuous underwater submersion is getting longer. Not only can they perform intelligence and data collection missions, but they can also carry underwater combat weapons. For instance, they can deploy smart mines or use their torpedoes to attack targets like a submarine. These are the future development directions for unmanned underwater vehicles, especially large ones. At the same time, the development of counter-unmanned capabilities is also prominent. The counter-unmanned missile and gun systems, high-energy laser weapons, and high-power microwave weapons reviewed this time have been systematically developed and form a powerful iron triangle for countering drones. Directed energy weapons have technical and cost advantages in preventing and intercepting low, slow, and small targets. Some microwave weapons can effectively attack low, slow, and small targets, achieving area of effect kills. Furthermore, current laser weapon technology is becoming increasingly mature. Laser weapons can instantly kill these low, slow, and small targets, can attack multiple times in a unit of time, and do not fire ammunition, which can maximize efficiency and reduce costs. Highlight 3. New aircraft models for the Air Force and Army unveiled. First, in a modern air combat system, there are flying radar stations and command centers, which are advanced early warning aircraft. They can use airborne radar to sense a vast airspace. By leveraging the early warning aircraft's detection and command capabilities, more forces can be mobilized and optimal tactics can be employed to effectively seize air superiority. In the air combat system, there are also support aircraft, such as large aerial refueling tankers, which further extend the loitering time of the air combat system. In addition, there are air combat weapons, such as advanced stealth fighters that can quietly approach a target, suddenly launch air-to-air missiles to shoot it down, while remaining in a relatively safe state. Early warning aircraft, refueling tankers, various types of fighter jets, including electronic warfare aircraft, are effectively integrated, which can make the People's Liberation Army Air Force's combat system invincible. With War Eagles soaring and a majestic presence, 8 aerial echelons roared in from a distance to be reviewed. The early warning and reconnaissance, long-range strike, air superiority combat, strategic projection, and support and logistics aircraft models reviewed this time systematically demonstrated the rapidly improving air combat capabilities of our military. Second, as the new generation of armored equipment for the Army's ground assault forces, the reviewed Type 99B tanks, Type 100 tanks, and Type 100 support vehicles fully demonstrated their powerful combat capabilities for mobile seizure of key points and offensive breakthroughs. They are an important component of our military's high-tech equipment system. The Type 99B tank, on the basis of the Type 99A tank, has significantly enhanced its capabilities for integrated joint operations under informationized conditions, multi-target fire strikes, mobility in complex terrain, and sustained crew operations in adverse weather through technological integration and functional expansion. The Type 100 tank and the Type 100 support vehicle are capable of performing operational tasks such as long-range rapid deployment, seizure and control of operational objectives, tactical deep strikes, urban offensive and defensive operations, and joint fire guidance.